I'm just saying, Poch for me would be the number one choice. But because of how bad it is, I would take anyone from a top 5 list of that's been linked. I will take any of them because I don't believe it can get any worse than what it is right now. Because maybe it's me. I'm trying to look at the silver linings. One of yous on here, let me know. What's the solution then? Have we got no solution? Are you man telling me this is all she wrote?
You know what? For me, obviously, I think there's a lot of structural issues with, from the ownership right down to player recruitment and the actual players themselves, mentality wise. But I think there was Sky Cave is one of the worst presenters or mainstream media I've seen. He's so clickbait in terms of what he says and what he tweets. But he put out a tweet, which is something that I actually said. Oh no! he took your throne, Terry. He took your throne. He's right up there with Adrian Durham from TalkSport. Adrian Durham is something else, but
Durham's a legend.
I know, but something that I said after Jose got sacked, and he tweeted it after the transfer window. He says the next signing Man United should make is a director of football. And I said it after Jose. I said because obviously Ole was in as the interim, and I said before we hire the next permanent manager of Man United, we need to get a director of football. And from that position, you then hire the manager. If that manager says, yeah, let's keep Solskjaer because I like what he's doing, cool. If he says, no, Solskjaer's not good enough, let's go and get X, Y, Z, cool. As long as, that director of football, who is that director of football? There's a lot of names that are touted out there. And I think, of course, there's other issues that need to be sorted. But if we're talking about one thing you can change that will make an impact at Manchester United, I think a director of football changes everything in terms of how we're going to be performing on the field, because that deals with recruitment, that deals with the right type of coach, etc., etc.
I don't think it does. I don't think it would. I really don't think it would. Do you want to hear my reasons?
Go on.
Is if we can't build on what someone has put in place, and we can't go out and get obvious targets like Sancho, Haaland, Upamecano, if we can't sign these players because they cost too much, are we really going to listen to a director of football who's going to go out and identify targets with talent, essentially, which are going to still cost a little bit of money? Do you honestly think the Glazers are going to like say, yeah, do you know what, sign this kid for 20, 30 million?
Well, I think they would, because this summer's shown with the amount of youngsters that we've actually signed, and the key ones being Palestri and Ahmad Traore. Somebody within the recruitment structure has seen these players and signed off by Ollie in terms of, yeah, let's try and go and get him. And then obviously Woodward and Judge have to agree with it. Someone in there is seeing and spotting out players, but for whatever reason, when we seem to miss out on the main targets, there is no obvious backup in those positions. We miss out on the target and we just got nobody. Now, if we go and get Sancho next summer because we couldn't get him this year, you'll say, fair enough. It was good that we didn't buy someone. But our structure should be so vast that if we miss out on one, there is a quote unquote, not exactly, but identical player out there that can fill in and do a job. If you look at Liverpool, they got Mane and Salah. Mane and Salah weren't Klopp's first choice. They wanted Julian Brandt. I think he wanted Mario Götze. I could be wrong. But for whatever reason, those two were unattainable. They didn't just say, all right, well, let's go next year and see if we can go back in for them or X, Y, Z, or let's go sign a 33-year-old backup striker. No, they went out and got other targets because they know the market. They have the contacts.
But we miss targets in multiple positions. That's the problem. Cool. If you can't get your first choice right winger,
but also, sorry. But also, when you got a sporting director, they have contacts. Why are we missing out on these targets? We got Van der Beek because we've got contact with Van der Sar. If Van der Sar's on our side, he's got contacts elsewhere where we can get these negotiations through the door.
That's what's really interesting, because the Van der Beek deal we got ridiculed and laughed at, celebrating it. Well, you only got it because you've got a good relationship with Van der Sar. So, yeah, bro, that's how most of these deals happen. One of the reasons we lose out on so many transfer targets is because people don't like Woodward. Like, they don't like him and his solicitors and lawyers and sort of commercial men that turn up to these negotiations. That's a part of it. One thing I'd say, Carl, the way I look at this about bringing a director of football, I kind of agree with your thread. I don't think Woodward would still relinquish power. I think Woodward would take the power away from him. I just think this is like, What's the name of the woman from the family of kings and queens, the evil ones in Game of Thrones?
Oh, Cersei.
Cersei. He's Cersei. Like, that's what he is. He'll do anything to stay in power. I only watched it all nearly, and I didn't really get it all. There's a tweet here from Anne Marie. Sorry. I follow her Twitter account. She's great. And this just sums it all up massively for me, where she just says, heading for our 5th manager in 7 years. Just wondering at what point that we stop and really question and hold to account the people making the decisions and hiring all these managers in the first place. Maybe competence is too much to ask for. And that's the thing, bruv. Like, I don't trust them to pick anyone right. And then if they do pick it right, I don't trust them not to mess it up. It's a madness, bruv.
That's the thing. Like, this is where I agree with Carl as well, because if you look at football clubs that actually know how to use technical directors, they don't always get it right with their technical directors either. And this is the first time we'll be doing it, and we're trusting Woodward to oversee that process. Can we trust him to do that? Juventus have just fired their technical director, by the way. Eric Abidal was technical director at Barcelona. He had no power. It was just a title. He couldn't really do anything. He couldn't really create a vision. And it wouldn't surprise me, like Terry said. I'd expect Woodward. Basically, Woodward needs to be the first. Before we even do anything, Woodward has to go first. Ed Woodward has to be fired. I don't think Manchester United, unless something changes under Ollie, people like get my whole Ollie thing misunderstood. He needs to succeed so we can move forward. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going in this cycle over and over and over again.
Making it sound like Jesus.
It's that deep. If Ollie, this is the way I look at it. If Ollie got his targets, and we know who those targets were, right, and he hits his ceiling, because I don't think Ollie can win us a title or a Champions League, then the next manager coming in would only need Woodward to back him properly for about a season. If Ollie got to a point where he got Sancho this season, reached the ceiling this season, next summer say, you know what, Ollie, you're gone. Cool. Woodward would, if by Flawless's plan, all Woodward would have to do with Pochettino is one summer, get it right, CDM and centre back, and we're good to go. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas now,
I hear you on that, bruv. I hear you on that.
Blood, man. Kamikaze this thing, because we're not built for no long-term success. You get me? Woodward's not going nowhere. Go on, Danny. Sorry, but Woodward's not going nowhere. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, all right, we can sit here and talk about everyone is Woodward glazes out. That is the one thing that Manchester United fans, no matter your age, where you are, whether you're in Manchester, no matter if you're in Mumbai, you're in Africa, everyone is glazes out, Woodward out. That hashtag trends number one all the time. But they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, so but I think when we marry Ollie out with Woodward out, I think it dilutes Woodward out, and it makes Woodward's job that much easier, because when we do sack Solskjaer, and he will be sacked at some point. When he is sacked,
won't last the season.
Yeah, whenever it is, when he is sacked, a lot of Man United fans for that moment, until bad results are coming in, are going to be very much appeased. There's not going to be any hashtags about Woodward. He's going to, like he might make appeasement signings, he will make appeasement footballing decisions, like hiring Ollie at the time when he did, and sacking Ollie at whatever time he does. And I think when we do the Ollie out and that hashtag starts trending, Woodward smiles, because he knows that, well, it's not my head on the line.
It's true.
Yeah, the thing is,
I did a video on this earlier, because we're going to move this on. I did a video earlier where I spoke about, you'll see all the positive PR. You'll see the sort of, this says Poch comes in. It'll be, and these will be the headlines. They'll use all the buzzwords. And I was chatting to someone today actually in the gym about how, like, there are good managers that can manage situations, but no one likes them. And then there are leaders. That's the one thing. And that's legitimately the one thing that Woodward has no ability to. He's not a leader of people. Nobody really respects him, in my opinion.
Sorry, Terry. Someone in the group chat said, if did he say if Ollie is Cersei? No. Yeah. If Woodward is Cersei, then Ollie is Joffrey. Like, the disrespect. Like,
the way that guy died actually made me laugh. I was so happy. But listen, I think